Are you tired of spending time and money keeping your yard alive? You've done everything that you can. You've watered, you've mowed, you've fertilized, with still no results. Well, keeping your yard alive without spending a fortune on water depends on the type of grass that you're trying to grow, the contour, lay of the land, the amount of shading that you have, the porosity of the soil, and of course the amount of water that you use to try to keep it alive. First, you need to establish what kind of grass you're growing in your yard. You may need to go to the library and get a reference book on this. A Kentucky bluegrass or ryegrass are going to be some of the thirstiest. Next comes a turf-type fescue, which uses a lot less water. And of course, if you really want some water-efficient plants to have in your yard, you might try a zoysia or a buffalo grass. Of course, they'll take some time to get established. Next, you want to take a look at the contours and lay of your land. Obviously, if you have some hills, that water is going to roll off pretty readily. You may do some creative berming, some intensive landscaping in order to hold on to this water. Or you might have some low spots that might need some special draining in order to encourage a proper water balance. As important as the type of grass you're growing and how effectively the water moves around your property is to a successful yard, so is the type of soil that you have. Now, older established soils have like many channels for water to penetrate, have a lot of tilth built up over the years, but too often that's pulled away when they build a home. And you're left with good old Missouri hard pan clay, which is about as impervious to water as concrete is. So if you're faced with something like that, then it's time to do what the professionals do. It's time to aerify. Now, this is an aerator that you can rent from a local tool store. Aeration over the years has been so successful that now you can take one of these home and work your yard yourself. Of course, if it's too formidable a task for you to do, you might hire a landscaper to do it. Now, the way that it works is this. These spikes go along the yard and they remove cores of soil like this. And what they leave is a nice deep hole that your water can then percolate down into. So when you're watering out, water's going down deep, the grass roots will grow down to that water level where they're going to be nice and cool, and you're going to get a lot more drought resistance off that yard, which is going to save you lots of money on those watering costs.
Let's talk about aeration particulars. First, mow the yard and get that extra debris out of the way. Now on the machine, you can adjust the depth of the holes to say around 3 inches. That should be about right, or whatever your soil hardness will permit. Now you want to crisscross back and forth across the yard to have an even distribution of holes. Now you can either rake up the soil plugs or leave them lay to melt back into your yard. And using an aerator is not a technique you want to use in hot and dry conditions because the additional holes may dry it out even more than you want to. So the spring and the fall will be the best time for this exercise.
If that method of aeration seems a bit aggressive for your yard, well, there's a more passive route to go. In gardening catalogs, you can find platforms like this that obviously have a lot of spikes in them, and they'll also help deliver water deep as you walk across the yard. It also gives you a pretty good workout when you're trying to walk on your yard with these things on. Now, how much water would your yard need in a week? Well, we advocate about 1 inch per week, and to help you determine if you're delivering that to your yard, we will get you a free lawn watering guide like this. And this also, of course, work as a rain gauge, so then you can determine if whether or not you're getting the right amount of water and be most efficient with your use. Now, you can call 874-7307 and we'll reserve one of these for you. Supplies are limited, so call today. Now, Conservation Tips is brought to you by Columbia Water and Light, where we want you to save and our community to conserve. This is Dave Mars. I'll see you next time.